ground. Yeah.
We'd like to think that good beats evil every time, but that's not always the case. Today, we're looking at 4 instances where officers were completely dominated by criminals, often having to fight for their lives. Starting with this case, where an officer was nearly beaten to death when a suspect turned on her in a split second. On April 27, 2023, law enforcement was called to the home of D'Angelo Wright for a domestic disturbance heard by neighbors. Wright was a known felon who was wanted on warrants for kidnapping, battery, and aggravated assault. Throughout the night, 3 attempts were made to contact Wright. During the first 2 attempts, he was absent. On the 3rd attempt to make contact with him, Sergeant Morgan Reynolds was in for the battle of her life.
Hi, in here. Him? Yes, what the unsafe like a mother in here? No. D'Angelo? Yes. Are you D'Angelo? Yes. You know damn well you is.
Done nothing.
But that's not playing. Let me just pat you down, make sure you ain't got nothing. Because this is crazy, you guys.
This is crazy as saying stuff.
Relax. Let me just pat you down, make sure you ain't got nothing. Do you live here, man?
Yes.
Yes,
All
man,
my
this is
stuff
my
right
fucking show. Put your hands behind your back. Oh my God, you fucking hurt. Stop! Zoom out! Oh my God!
Sergeant Morgan Reynolds was beaten so severely that she fell unconscious on the scene, completely defeated by Wright. Her jaw, nose, and several of her teeth were shattered as Wright beat her. She was rushed to the hospital where she was closely monitored for a severe concussion and released after 10 days of recovery. Ultimately, her jaw was wired shut for 6 weeks, and she was lucky to have survived losing to this criminal. Fortunately, justice was found. Wright was sentenced to 35 years in prison for aggravated assault of a police officer, and Sergeant Reynolds returned to the force soon after she recovered. On September 26, 2020, Los Angeles police officers at the Harbor Station in San Pedro, California, were going about their everyday routine. Little did they know, someone was about to enter their station with destruction and violence in mind. And tragically, they were going to succeed in their evil plan. When the officer managing the front desk heard someone enter the station, he made his way over to see who entered. Because the officer wasn't expecting any dangerous encounters, simply minding the desk, there is no audio for the following exchange. But as you're about to see, it gets heated, and the officer doesn't stand a chance. After being pistol-whipped, defeated, and left bleeding on the floor, the officer called for help. After all, there's some very, very important info he has to relay.
Out here!
Hey!
You got my gun?
What?
You got my gun?
The suspect leapt into a car and rushed away, but not before officers noted his vehicle and gave chase. Soon, they caught up with him.
Let me see your hands, motherfucker! Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands! Get down on the ground! Down on the ground! Get your hands! I got one. Give it your hands, buddy. You're gonna get hurt. He just got his right arm. Okay, I'm off. All right. I'm getting cut. I got his right arm. All right. Hey, sorry, I think I broke my finger. Everybody be cool. All right.
The suspect, Jose Guzman, was taken into custody and charged with 2 counts of attempted murder for his outburst. Fortunately, everyone on the scene recovered and no one was shot. But not every officer who loses on the scene gets away so easily. On June 10, 2023, an officer in Detroit stopped at a gas station before a long day of work. He had no idea that the most challenging battle of the day, one that he was about to lose, was mere seconds away. The teenagers, a 17-year-old and a 16-year-old, ambushed the officer, stealing his work-issued gun. The officer managed to wrestle the gun away from the teens before they ran off. Shortly after, they were located and arrested. Both were charged with armed robbery, as well as disarming a police officer and assaulting a police officer. The officer in the next case got ambushed in an entirely different place, and not even a taser could stop the man trying to take him down. On February 10, 2022, an Orlando police officer monitoring students to make sure they safely crossed a school crosswalk was disturbed by a knocking on his window. The suspect continued knocking and threatening the officer, who then got out of his vehicle. What awaited him outside was a fight for his life.
John Young and Harwood.
Get on the ground. 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 Put your stuff down and get on the ground. Get on the ground now. Get on the ground now. Get on the ground now.
Listen.
Get on the ground right now.
You don't know about me, I don't know about you, but...
Get on the ground right now.
Because the suspect, Mossity, balled his hands into fists in a fighting stance, the officer chose to deploy his taser, thinking that that would stop him. But that was just the beginning.
What are you sent for?
Taser deployed. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground now.
Get on the ground now. Get on the ground now.
Yeah, just
Get on the ground now.
Get on the ground, dude. Are you gonna get sprayed? Get on the ground now. Get on, fuck you, man. Fuck you.
Mossity repeatedly struck the first responding officer in the face, seemingly completely unfazed by the taser.
Get on the fucking ground. Get on the fucking ground. You hear me? Get on the fucking ground. Get on the fucking ground. Get on the fucking ground now.
Other units almost time.
Get on the fucking ground now. Get on the fucking ground now. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the fucking ground. Yeah. On the fucking ground before I shoot you, motherfucker!
On the ground.
Get on the ground! Get on the fucking ground! Get on the fucking ground!
Bravo 2 John Young and Harwood.
Get on the ground now!
It's clear that the officers are at a loss here, confused about how to move forward after both of them have been thrown to the ground more than once. And now that Mossity's shirt is off, things are getting serious. More officers arrive for backup.
Get on the ground. Do it now. Get that taser. Get that taser. Yep. Here you go, guys. Work together. Work together. Get the arm. Hey, calm down, guys. Work together. All right. Got one arm. All right. All right. There you go, guys. Good job.
It took 4 officers to subdue a single suspect, and even then they were walking away with breaks and bruises. Mossady was charged with aggravated battery of a law enforcement officer. All of the officers managed to walk away with only minor injuries. Which of the officers faced the biggest defeat? Let us know in the comments down below.